getting to Lamar Jackson, I want to apologize to Ravens fans and Lamar fans across the America, the United States,
across the America,
and just apologize because he got absolutely robbed of an MVP and probably one of his best complete seasons to date. Passing yards, almost 4,200 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, completion percentage 66.7, passer rating 119.6, fourth highest single season ever. QBR 77.3, league high. Yards per attempt 8.8, NFL leader. EPA per play first, success rate fourth, completion percentage over expectation fifth. And then the rushing dynamic of this too, 915 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 6.6 yards per carry, top amongst quarterbacks. And then just a few things, and I want you to chime in as well. First quarterback with 4,000 plus passing yards and 900 rushing yards in a single season. Only one of 2 quarterbacks ever with 40 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Broke new ground with the 4,200 yards, 915 rushing yards, first in NFL history for a quarterback, first time in NFL history to lead all quarterbacks in both passing and rushing metrics. And then the 119.6 passer rating ranks only behind Aaron Rodgers at 122.5 and 121.5. That was 2 separate seasons. And Peyton Manning at 121.1. I mean, he put on an absolute clinic from a passing perspective and a rushing perspective. Whenever you start putting yourself in a category of stuff that has never been done before, that's pretty great. But then also for everybody who sits here and tries to kind of downplay the significance and the talent of Lamar Jackson as a passer, when you're putting him in the same categories as Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning, I mean, he's a rare breed and absolute robbery. He did not win the MVP this year.
I also want to throw out there that he won the MVP in 21 and 23.
Yeah.
He was drastically better this last year than both of those years. And
crazy.
Didn't win an MVP either this season. So that's one thing that I wanted to say that's ridiculous. The other thing that I keep seeing is across social media now is we're approaching the season, but we're still kind of at like a lull period for sports where it's like,
for sure,
yeah, preseason football started, but that's really it. And or college is right around the corner, but people are putting out like their quarterback rankings and tier rankings, and a lot of people are putting like Lamar Jackson as like the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in the NFL in a lot of these rankings, and shouldn't be a list where he's not 1st or 2nd, in my opinion. So that's a really like confusing thing for me to see. I understand that playoff football does matter, but there's a couple things that I wanted to read off about his playoff stats that are just so significant that play into the fact that like he's really fucking good in the playoffs too. Obviously, turning the ball over like he did against the Bills wasn't great, but he led them down the field and put them in a spot to win. He can't throw and catch the ball on every play.
He did that before.
So he has done it. He has done it before, but couldn't do it in that game. So this is hang tight. So in the playoffs, there's 19 quarterbacks that have had 50 plus attempts. So Lamar Jackson is number 1 in EPA per attempt, throwing outside the numbers, throwing when outside the pocket, early downs without play action, throwing when kept clean, versus zone coverage, versus too high in the 4th quarter, when passing within 2.5 seconds and inside the red zone. So like, I would say those are a pretty relevant stats when it comes to winning football games. And if you're able to do those
you could say that
probably some of the best numbers in the NFL, then I would say you're probably pretty good. And those are better numbers than like Mahomes, Burrow, you name it. I don't think they're Josh Allen's got some numbers right up there, but like I said, he's the other guy that I think is at the top of the list for the best quarterback in the NFL, but it's undoubtedly some version of him and Josh Allen at 1 and 2.
Yeah, another thing too that Bill Simmons just put out his list, and he has
That's
Josh Allen at the top of the pyramid, and the thing that he's like really harping on is like, well, Josh Allen just doesn't like really have any talent around him. Like, well, it's like, well, like has Lamar ever had a top pass catcher ever in his career? No.
No.
The guys that he has had around him, he is just strictly elevated. Like I said, like that's why I put him in categories above some of these guys, because no matter who rolls out on that field with him, he is able to produce an explosive passing and rushing offense just based on the back of him. He's the most dynamic rusher in the entire NFL. And that's not even a discussion to be had. I like the way that Josh Allen does run the football, but I think it's fair to say that he's a little bit more physical, and Lamar kind of has a little bit more overall finesse to his game and can kind of make more happen with his feet. But I'm with you. The Lamar Jackson hate where people are kind of downplaying like how great he is and the multiple MVPs. And I mean, it just goes back to even when he came out of college into the NFL, where everyone was like, he's not going to work in the NFL. Everyone. The Ravens even took Hayden Hurst at 20th, I think it was, before they took Lamar at 32. So every team in the NFL, including the Ravens, passed on him. Nobody thought that Lamar would be who he is in the NFL, and he's proven everyone wrong. He's continued to do it. And even now, as he's playing at this elite level, better than the quarterbacks that everybody have at the top of their list, it seems like he is still getting that preconceived hate that dates back the whole way to Louisville. And at this point, this guy does nothing but win, and he does nothing but dominate. So I love Lamar. I think he's by far the best quarterback in the NFL. So Ravens fans, like I said, I'm sorry that he got robbed of an MVP this season, and now apologize. Good way to point this out this offseason, even not getting the same respect as the other guys at the top of the list are getting is absolutely inexcusable.
Yeah, somebody had him at 4th, and I was like, what are we doing? In what world, like, is he not a top 2 quarterback in the NFL? It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Do you have anything else that you want to say about Lamar? That's going to be a great video. I think that video gets a lot of views right there.
I have one thing that I wanted to talk about that I should have thrown it in when we were talking about the playoffs, but something that I feel like is worth noting is just like the way that I formed this was like, what does Lamar Jackson need to improve at when it comes to the playoffs? And what I found after reading up on everything was like, first off, he gets blitzed at a rate that is like 3 times more than anybody else in the NFL. And I feel like that's just a way to like counteract his high playmaking ability as a quarterback is you send blitzes at somebody, force them to get rid of the football, make quick decisions. So for starters, he's blitzed at a rate that's just absolutely ridiculous. And when he's not getting blitzed, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. If you're not blitzing him, I have this here. He's number 1 in EPA per pass. He's number 1 in success rate, number 1 in yards per attempt in the playoffs. That's fucking crazy. When he's not being blitzed, he's the best playoff quarterback. But again, what he needs to get better at and what the Ravens need to do is realize, like, okay, we have the best playoff quarterback on our team. How are we going to be able to set this team up and have easier answers for Lamar or teach him into being able to handle the blitz a little bit better? That's the only thing that is stopping him from playing in a Super Bowl, because the Bills blitzed at like a ridiculous rate when they played them. We saw how he played. He had made some mistakes. the games that they lost against the Steelers, they blitzed them at a crazy rate. The Raiders blitzed them at a crazy rate. Like, if there is one thing that Lamar Jackson needs to work on, it's handling the blitz. But other than that, I mean, you can't be upset at anything else that this guy's doing.
No, you can't. I mean, that's perfect. I think that's a great way to do it. I was about to go into storylines regardless, so that's a good storyline going into last season, going into this season. And another thing is just like these turnovers, like where like Lamar just like has like a dumb fumble, like, you know what I mean, where he's trying to make something happen and he just
at
like
the
has
most
a fumble.
Unfortunate times too.
Yeah,
like there's not a way that you can necessarily 100% mimic that in a practice or in a scrimmage. That's just something that you have to grow as a player in when you're in those moments. It's like, okay,
yeah.
I have to be a little bit more, not necessarily careful, but it's like, all right, I know this moment means a little bit more. Like, I got to be smarter. And the only way that you're practicing that is you're playing in more high leverage moments, high leverage games, which he's going to.
It's just him trying, and he's just trying to win. Like, you know, it's one of those situations like where if he'll like fumble something, like you could like he'll like come off on the sideline like ripping his like chin strap off, like, you know what I mean, like where it's just like, not that guys don't care, I'm not saying that, but like the level of care and how bad Lamar wants it like is never in question, like ever. And it seems like even those turnovers that he makes, it's very like he's trying to make the play. He's trying to make something happen because at the end of the day, he's the most important player on the field. And you're right. I think he needs to fix untimely turnovers, and great point about the blitz.
The other thing too is probably a little bit of like added pressure in those moments too, when you're like, damn, I care about this so much. I want to win so badly. I want to get over this hump and like finally play in an AFC championship game. And it's just like year after year, that pressure builds up. And I'm not saying that those moments are too big for him, but like, I can't even imagine how he feels when those moments do happen. It's like,
oh, yeah,
damn, we're doing this again. Yeah.
I just spit it. Good girl, we're getting paper as a passion. Collect the stacks and bring it back, man, and take vision.